Well, salutations to all the corners of the Decatur Methodist family. My name is Sean Henderson, and if you don't know my face or my name, I'm the worship leader at the Pecan Street Mission, broadcasting from my home. And if you do know my name and my face, then allow me to say that I am just beyond delighted to have the opportunity to be making contact with you right now in whatever capacity. I'm making this video right now to introduce you to a new facet of ministry that we're experimenting with as we're in a time that necessitates creativity and experimentation. We have been having staff conversations about how we need to adapt all of our ministries in these times to reflect the needs that are arising each day. So perhaps like many of you watching this, have been spending a bit of time at home lately, and of course, when I say a little bit of time, I mean a lot of time at home. And it's felt isolating at times, not being able to go out each day and see the friendly faces I'm used to being able to see. And only now can I put the words to the comforts that come from being able to see everyone from my daily and weekly routines. So in lieu of not being able to physically and immediately lead worship with any of you this Sunday, we'll be tapping into some of the immense library of music, art, and freedom in life that can be found online. I've compiled a playlist here on YouTube that you can access at any point during this week. You don't need any subscription or membership. If you have access to the internet, then you can access this playlist. Each week, I'll be curating a number of songs that cover all of the bases that we typically cover in any Sunday, from the hymns as you're used to hearing them sung in the sanctuary services, and modern spiritual songs as they are rendered at the Pecan Street Mission. However, there's also going to be a fair number of selections that will not be specifically Christian spiritual experiences, but all the same have messages that are important for times like these, and they will serve as a reflection point for the message that our Reverends Cassie and Ricky will be sharing with us each week. And so we're not intending that you binge all of these songs in a single sitting, more or less like you would during a single Sunday service. But think of them as a care package of music that will hopefully give you some relief through some of these ups and downs that each day can seem to bring, as there's an air of uncertainty that is surrounding each of us in our own worlds right now. I've included a lot of exposition so far in this video to introduce us and to acclimate us to this new facet of ministry that we're experimenting with. But I will be picking out a few of the selections from the playlist each week to explain why these particular songs have been particularly insightful and helpful to me for one reason or another. Before I get started on sharing about some of the individual pieces that I have chosen, I just wanted to say a quick word to the hopeful interactive element of this experiment. I hope that this can be a multi-sided musical conversation, not just a single person, being myself of the church, that says what music is best to listen to during this time, because I do not have any kind of monopoly on that. If you have music that is giving you a special feeling of comfort or is particularly necessary to you, please share it with me so that I can include in playlists of upcoming weeks. You can throw that in the comments below this video, and I'll see those. So right now, the church is planning on not hosting Sunday morning services for a total of 8 weeks, but the truth is that no one can likely predict what the future holds at this point. And so I think that this is a wonderful opportunity for us to be in touch with each other musically and share pieces of ourselves that we might not get to share during ordinary times. This is an opportunity. So without much more to say, let's move on to some of the selections for this week. The first one, song that I want to tell you about that I chose is Singing in the Rain from the musical Singing in the Rain. And the reason that I want to talk about this one first specifically is I just watched it for the first time with my girlfriend the other night, And it's a classic that her family loves to watch whenever they get together, and it serves of real wonderful memories. And I've heard a lot of people say that they've gone back to a lot of the things that they're very familiar with. It gives them a lot of comfort to watch and to listen to these things, something that they are very certain about when so much is broadly uncertain in the world. These are the oldies but goodies, if you will. And the second reason that I wanted to share this specific track with the community is because this is the moment of the musical where the character Don Lockwood, he finally gets to be honest about the treasure, as we've heard Cassie and Ricky discussing. This is the first time that he is discovering an internal treasure for himself. The metaphor for the rain in this movie is the changing climate of Hollywood with the introduction of talking pictures. And so these silent movie stars are left wondering what they'll be able to do to survive during these evolving demands that are placed on the actors of the time, whether they'll be able to continue to work. And up until this point in the film, all the stories and songs that we hear from this character, Don Lockwood, are performed for specific audiences of either his adoring fans, his co-workers in the industry, or his friends. And within this, there's a notable progression where his audience becomes increasingly intimate, from fans to coworkers to friends, and then finally a song that he sings to a singular audience of himself. And this is the most intimate and vulnerable window that we get into the character's thoughts and expressions as he's able to assess his treasure that he has, which is the opportunity to be able to sing and dance and to innovate during these turbulent times in the career. He's accepted that he's going to have to transcend the status quo that has been placed on what is expected of talking picture stars as well as silent picture stars. And he can give himself to what is true to him. And as he dances, we can see just how freeing it is to be able to surrender ourselves to the waves that take opportunity to innovate when times begin to change. The next piece that I want to discuss that I've included in the playlist is it's called Tom's Diner by Susan Vega. Now, this version of the song that's on the playlist is the original form in which it was recorded, which is a solo a cappella. And if you're familiar with this song, you might know it by its dance remix, which is incredibly groovy, and I don't hate on it at all. However, the reason I included this version of it is because lately I've been looking for the beauty in what can come out of this isolation that we are responsibly putting ourselves to. And I'm struck by this particular song and the power that a single person, with their voice, just a bare voice, has the power to tell a story in so many different dimensions. Vega toured and played with the band and could have set this to music to give it a fuller sound, but thought that it stands on its own, with its own unique, haunting beauty of the isolated vocal track. And so with this, my point is to encourage us to look for moments of beauty that can arise from the isolation that we're putting ourselves to right now. The next one I want to discuss is that's on this playlist is Dancing Queen by ABBA. And I was particularly inspired to put this song on the playlist because of its use in this movie called The Two Popes, which is on Netflix. If you're not familiar with the movie, it's about the nature of the position of the Pope and how it can become self-isolating to the point that the Pope loses touch with the parishioners around the world that it has been elected to serve. And so it functions in this film. Dancing Queen is a song that connects the generations of kids, women, and men that grew up dancing to this song in their homes, on the streets, with their partners, with friends, all the way to the most revered holy person in the world. And it is important during these times where we have where it had to be isolated for the sake of public health, that we don't stop dancing. Is the most liberating action that we can be a part of. And just because we aren't physically together doesn't mean that we can't dance together. So please, put this track on and let's dance together with it. The next song I want to talk about is Bind Us Together. I'm not sure if this hymn is regular in the sanctuary services. I know that it's not one that we have so far adapted to our stylings at the Pecan Street Mission. But this hymn is one that I discovered a few years ago when I was realizing what it means to be a part of the Methodist Church. And as I was introduced to the United Methodist Church, I was really inspired by the ecclesiastical model that it follows, which is a complicated way of saying that all the churches work together. No, none of them exist on their own. They do not compete with each other. They don't isolate from each other. They feed off each other, and they become stronger by this binding that is between them. And I think that in this sense, the church models excellent behavior at a macrocosmic level that we as parishioners can engage in our own everyday, typically occurring lives, which is to say that we can remain bound. Like if we remain bound together, we'll discover this treasure that is most dear to all of us, and that does not shine like any kind of coin, but is inspired by the beauty of living and doing life together. So thank you for watching this video. I'd like to send my well wishes to each member of the church and to each person that watches this. And please let me know in the comments what you're listening to that is giving you life right now during these potentially turbulent times right now, so we can set up a chain of sharing this kind of art between each other and be stronger and better for it. Thank you so much, and God bless. Please take care of yourselves as best you can.